It's the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. A perfect start to your hump of the week Wednesday morning. My name is Ayokunmi, and it's that time to talk about business and get into Business Express, brought to you by InterSwitch this morning. And we're going to be having a conversation about what is on people's minds, people's lips, people's hearts as at this point. And it's talking about petroleum matters as Dangote Refinery produces PMS, as NNPCL hikes fuel prices to 855 naira per liter. That is what is making the rounds as of this morning. I mean, since yesterday. So it was only pertinent that we bring it to the fore this morning and shed some light on it. And my guest joining me today is Dr. Oluwanbepelumi Olanubi, the co-founder at Kingsgate Advisors. Very good morning to you, Dr. Olanubi. Great to have you on once again.
Good morning, Ayo. It's a pleasure having been here today. Thank you.
All right. And for all our listeners, you can join us on the conversation. Share your thoughts with us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 981. 0809 444 981. You can also join us on YouTube or streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right. Dr. Olanubi, let's get into this interesting conversation. And let's start with the Dangote Refinery. Now, can you speak to the foreign exchange savings from it being able to actually produce petrol?
All right. Thank you for that. So before I even go into the foreign exchange dynamics, I would like to just say a big congratulations to the entire Dangote group and also to us Nigerians. You know, this is the first time. What we saw yesterday was historical. It was the first time in 28 years that we would actually refine petroleum. You know, there is a hope that we'll be refining domestically, and this is accrued to the private sector. You know, this shows the power of the private sector, what can be done when there is enabling environment. And of course, we need to acknowledge the government, of course, for supporting Dangote Group in terms of policy and all that we've seen. So Nigeria was at the forefront yesterday on global news, making a good headline, and that is what we want. And these are the things we would expect, you know, for the country in general. Having said that, back to your question, if you listen to the interview Dangote himself, you know, took yesterday, he mentioned that about 40%, which if you check the books to 40% of FX demand, you know, for import actually goes to imported crude or imported petroleum. So if you see Dangote coming into consistently supply, they also said yesterday that probably they might start selling to NNPC, who will of course distribute to independent marketers, you know, starting from tomorrow, Thursday, and they have intention of starting with about 25 million barrels, which they expect to increase to about 30 million barrels. This is going to
Liters.
Liters, yes, this is going to, of course, you know, satisfy the domestic needs in Nigeria, and that would reduce the demand for foreign exchange. And not only would that happen, we also has the potential of any foreign exchange to us through exports, as we see Dangote, you know, export some of this refined petroleum, and this have implications on our terms of trade, strengthening the strong terms of trade. Also, it has implications for our foreign reserves, and eventually would stabilize the naira significantly. If we see this complementary impact of demand in FX, no, and also supply increasing as Dangote exports crude oil, it's a win-win for us. It's a good news. So it's definitely going to have good strengthening impact on the naira.
That's actually good to hear. Now let's bring it home to what's been going on in the last couple of weeks, and that's the fuel queues that are all over the place. I mean, before we came on, I was talking about this morning as at 5 a.m. the petrol station on Ahmadu Bello that was packed to the roof with people who are queuing for petrol. And that is a similar story all across Lagos and really all across Nigeria. Now, will the refinery producing petrol right now, Dangote Refinery producing petrol right now, would it bring an end to the current scarcity and, of course, by extension, take cars away from the fuel stations, you know, in terms of queues and all that?
Right, like you said, Ayo, it's really a sad thing to still say that in 2024, we are still battling with queues, you know, unending queues, people wasting productive hours, you know, trying to access or get fuel in a country where we are blessed with crude oil. You know, it's even sad that we are still discussing this, you know, at this time. But right, this is where we find ourselves. But the good news, like I rightly said, is as Dangote Refinery comes into operation, as they start selling to NNPCL and of course to independent marketers, eventually to us, you know, final consumers, we hope to see that this queues that we are seeing will continue to decline, and eventually we'll see an end of it. And not just for this season, no, we'll see that going forward. If NNPC can continue to supply, crude to Dangote, and same way Dangote also supplies refined products, PMS to NNPC and other marketers, we would expect that supply issue will be dealt with, and also be able to actually measure the real consumption or domestic demand of PMS, in the country. So we hope that with this new development, this scarcity thing will come to an end. It's a long, it's actually a long age issue. We've seen this scarcity back at 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. Now in 2024, it's still happening, and it's frustrating, I must tell you. It's not only that there is even scarcity, the price is actually very, it has gone up again. So
Exactly.
we hope that with this refinery and with the supply coming in from Dangote Refinery on a consistent basis, we hope that this scarcity thing would really come to die a permanent death, and this Q2 also will come to die a permanent death, hopefully.
Amen. Amen to that. And you actually alluded to NNPCL supplying crude oil to the refinery. Now we understand that in that arrangement, they were supplying the crude oil to the refinery in Naira. What do you make of that particular development?
Yeah, right. It's a good one, right? But we need to still understand some major drivers, in the sense that we know that crude oil is actually priced in the international market. The last time I came here, I think I mentioned that we as a country, when it comes to crude oil, we are sensitive to production than price, because we just take the price. So even if NNPC is selling to Dangote in the Naira value, it's still going to be reflective of what the international market is saying. It's going to be reflective of what the crude oil price is at the international market. And I think it's around $80 per barrel as of yesterday. So it's going to be reflected, right? Although the good thing is that the exchange rate dynamics and the volatility that comes with exchange rate, as well as the pass-through effect, will be eliminated. And that is significant given the volume of transaction that we're talking about. That will be significant. However, the fact that it's traded in Naira doesn't mean it's not going to reflect what international prices are saying. And also the same way Dangote is expected to sell to NNPC as well at in Naira. Of course, your input costs affect your output costs. Everybody's happy that Dangote is coming to play and there'll be supply, but we shouldn't forget that Dangote is a capitalist. It's a business. It's not Santa Claus, right? So you're going to price in his own profit too, and every other thing that comes into it. So though it's good because the exchange rate dynamics and exchange rate volatility issue are eliminated, but we should also have at the back of our mind that it will be reflective of what international prices as touching what crude price is saying. So that's the major issue here.
It's a good thing you mentioned the cost of production, because that is one really big elephant in the room that not so many people are mentioning, that particular part of the conversation, and what that would actually mean for the price that he would actually sell the refined product to the oil marketers. Now, can the refinery operate within a subsidized environment? Is that doable?
All right. So although it has been stated that now that Dangote should supply basically to NNPCL while they sell to other marketers. So one thing that is sort of not clear is if they'll be transparent as to how much Dangote will be selling to the NNPC. We are not sure if that will be open or that will be private information to the general public, if we'll be able to know, okay, this is how much Dangote is selling to NNPC, why NNPC is selling this to the other marketers, and this is why fuel prices at this price. So issues around this, the pricing is still very unclear, and we hope that it unfolds and there's a lot of transparency as it unfolds, as the transaction unfolds. But one thing we are certain about is that there is still subsidy, right? Because the landed cost of what PMS is right now is still not what NNPCL is selling. So if the government eventually still subsidize, it's better in the sense that now we are subsidizing production. Remember that we are hoping to get all our supply from Dangote. So the premium is paid to Dangote. The subsidy is paid to the production, as against when it was paid on imported PMS price. So it's still a good strategy, if you ask me, when you subsidize production over subsidizing consumption. So even if there's still subsidy, as it were, it's channeled towards the production of refined products. And because Dangote is not here to joke, we've seen it, he's not here to play at all. So we know that there will be a better management of these funds, right? And at the end of, at the core is actually welfareism. If the fuel is available, if PMS is available, but it's not affordable, it has not hit the mark, it has not done it will still not lead to good welfare, it will not lead to better economic outcome, right? So
right.
Yes, right now, and like I said, Dangote is not Santa Claus, it's not Santa Claus, and it's not here for giveaway, right? So we still need to look at all these factors, and I believe that there should be a measure of subsidy just to stabilize some things and see how we can help in affordability of PMS, even as it is made available going forward.
Now let's quickly talk about the NNPCL. Yesterday we saw the price of fuel rising from about 600 naira thereabouts to 855 naira per liter in Lagos. That's in Lagos. In other states, it's much higher than that. Now, was this a necessary move? Because it does, it does seem like we woke up yesterday and there were meetings done, and then boom, price reflections all over the place, just like that.
There have been speculations that this price increase is born of out of the fact that Dangote wants to start selling and all, but Nigerians need to know, while I still come to answer your question, Nigeria needs to know that Dangote is here for business. It's not here for giveaway. So having said that, we don't have a clear, we are not clear as to how much NNPC is actually buying this refined product from the international markets, right? And back of the envelope analysis has shown that the landed cost of refined PMS, imported refined PMS, is trading between 1,100 to 1,300, as it reflects both the exchange rate dynamics and also crude price in international markets, because there is a direct relationship between this. Yeah. So having said that, the issue here is that NNPC is not even selling at 1,000 naira, right? So it shows that there's still a premium between what NNPC is selling right now and what the landed cost is. Whatever way we want to look at it, the landed cost is above 1,000 naira. And NNPC has also come forward to say that, yes, there was a back and forth between NNPC and some of these international marketers, but they've come forward to say that, yes, they are owing, and yes, they have some issues with supply, So this reflects that, as it were, there are some issues with the books with NNPC, and there are issues with cash flow with NNPC. So subsidy is still there. There's no president said,
no two ways about it.
Yes, the president said it's gone, but we know it's still here, right? Might not be at the same quantity. In fact, some would argue that we are paying more now. But because we don't have a clarity as to how much the landed cost is, it is actually necessary for us to see this increase. And it's expected because PMS price now is reflective of what global or what international market says. So some independent markets are already selling at 1,000 and above. So we all know that was going to happen. But this is when we need the government to come in and let's be bold about this subsidy. There's no need to be shady around it. Let's be bold about it. It's becoming unaffordable for people at this point. It's becoming, at first it was the issue of, okay, it's expensive, you're managing, but now it's becoming unaffordable. People cannot even fill their tanks again. You calculate if you have to go to buy something, if you have to go out, you calculate, should I take an Uber? Should I bike? Should I drive? And this is going to have impact on every other thing, name it, every other thing. So I think it's high time the government come forward and boldly step in. But the good news anyway in all this is the hope of Dangote coming to play. Not that we'll see a significant drop in the price, right? But at least we'll see, it's still a relief when we see supply. Then as the supply becomes consistent, we hope that there will still be a little drop in prices. Might not be so significant, but the relief of supply and the fact that there's no queue, I can always get fuel, and I can plan around it. The premium as to the volatility of exchange rate pass-through has been eliminated. So that still helps businesses and individuals as to plan, going forward. So that's it.
All right, fantastic. Let's round up with some messages. This is fine. Oluboroko, who says, I've never trusted Dangote because he's a capitalist. I feel that this ongoing scarcity is artificial, so that the stage will be set for him to come in at a price that will be favorable to him. However, I see a steady supply of petrol that will eliminate the queues going forward. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And Tayo says, Historic achievement for the private sector led by Sir Dangote in the oil sector. We're also waiting for the government to open theirs, refine some petroleum, participate in such historic feat like this, and ease the suffering. Petrol stations are now event centers. Tayo, I can agree with that 110%. We need to record it morning on the show. Thank you so much, Dr. Oluwanbepelumi Olanubi, for joining me this morning to talk about this. It's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure as well.
All right, do have yourself a great Wednesday and a great rest of the week as well. Thank you all for sharing your messages on Business Express this morning. Keep it tuned. There's more great music coming your way as we get along to